له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمد عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Tonight, the night of the 13th of the month of Jumada al-Akhira, we're going to be continuing the reading of this virtuous book, which is Usool As-Sunnah by Imam Ahmad rahimanallah wa iyyah, with the explanation of Shaykh Rabee ibn Hadi al-Madkhali hafidhahullah wa ra'ah. And the point that we reached was Al-Quran kalamullah laysa bi makhluq, that the Quran is indeed the speech of Allah, not created. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he say, wal Quranu kalamullah wa laysa bi makhluqin. He say the Quran is indeed the speech of Allah, which is not created. He say wala yad'af an yaqul laysa bi makhluqin, and it is not weak to add it is not tayyib, it is not created. Qala, he say fa inna kalamullah laysa bi ba'in minhu. He say that the Quran, the kalam of Allah, the speech of Allah, is not distinct from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَيْسَ مِنْهُ شَيْءٍ مَخْلُوقٍ, and there is nothing in regard to the Quran that is created. There is nothing in regard to the Quran that is created. He say, وَإِيَّاكَ وَمُنَاظَرَ مَنْ أَحْدَثَ فِيهِ. And he say, I warn you against those who they want to argue in regard to this matter, from the newly invented matter of this issue of the Quran being the speech of Allah and not being created. And likewise, وَمَنْ قَالَ بِاللَّفْظِ وَغَيْرِهِ وَمَنْ وَقَفَ فِيهِ فَقَالَ لَا أَدْرِي مَخْلُوقٌ أَمْ لَيْسَ بِمَخْلُوقٍ وَإِنَّمَا هُوَ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ فَهَذَا صَاحِبُ بِدْعَةٍ مِثْلُ مَنْ قَالَ هُوَ مَخْلُوقٌ. He say that for the one that say that my recitation and other than that, or the one that have this aqidah of al-waqf, meaning he stops to say that I do not know whether or not it is created. For those who say I do not know whether or not it is created, innama huwa kalamullah, but they say it is the speech of Allah. But as in regard to is it created or not, they stop. They want to play the neutral game. Tayyib. But he say, for the one that says this, it is just like the one that say that the Quran is a creation. The Quran is a creation. So therefore, he is a person of innovation. He is a person of innovation, just like the person that say that the Quran is created. But now, what is the belief of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah? Imam Ahmad say, he say, إِنَّمَا هُوَ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ, that the Quran is the speech of Allah, لَيْسَ بِمَخْلُوقٍ, and it is not created. Shaykh Rabee ibn Hadi, he mentioned few statements in regard to the issue of, first and foremost, the mihnah of Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. He say, indeed, the issue of the creation of the Quran, it was a great mihnah, it was a great trial for the people of the Sunnah. And he mentioned the statement of the Salaf, that indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has strengthened this religion by way of Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, the day of the Riddah, the day of when those individuals, after the death of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, they refused to pay the zakat. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he fought them until those who recanted, and those who died upon that, they died as murtad. That's why it is called Yawmur Ridda. And likewise bi Ahmad Yawm al-Mihna, and likewise of Imam Ahmad rahimahullah on the day of al-Mihna, on the day of the trial and tribulation, كما قال بعض السلف, as some of the Salaf mentioned. من الذي قال هذا? Who said that from the Salaf? Who from the Salaf say that? Ahsanta, Ali ibn Madini. Very good, Abdul Jalil. Ali ibn Madini, rahimahullah. So Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, he was, and he put into a great trial. In a great trial, that was part of it, that he was in prison for how many months? Was Imam Ahmad in jail? How many months did they put him in jail? How many months did they put him in jail? We mentioned it miraran. Muhammad? 18 months. He was put in jail for 18 months. And likewise, from the punishment that he received was tortured. And they starved him. And they, barakallahu fikum, and tried everything, even to the point that they were torturing him. And torturing him severely. But Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he was persistent upon that belief. He was persistent upon the belief that the Quran is the speech of Allah and it is not created. But Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, Shaykh Uthaymin mentioned, and on another book from the Nawaqid al-Islam, at the very end of it, Shaykh Fawzan Hafidhahullah, he was mentioning about, for those who have been forced, for those who have been forced to do something that is in opposition to the religion, amma to insult the messenger, to curse the messenger, or to curse the religion and the Muslims and the like. And if the person was being coerced, was forced to be doing that, was obliged to do that, and then he do it, then he was doing it to wave off the harm that he was put on. So he was not saying it because of that he was pleasing to the disbelievers, as it happened to Ammar ibn Yasir radiyallahu anhu arda, when they got him and they made him to curse at the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, to insult the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. So when he came, he said to the Messenger, he is destroyed. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him that what was the level state of your heart. He said that his heart was mutma'innun bil iman, that his heart was firm upon belief. And the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam told him, فَإِنْ عَادُوا أُعِدْ, if they do it again, repeat it again. So here the issue of it is that when a person is being forced to do something, then al-afdal is to be patient. The best way is to be patient. But if he has to wave off the harm that he couldn't be patient with it no more, then barakallahu fikum, he can go by to say that which they want him to say, so he will free himself from the harm. And this is why Shaykh Uthaymin rahimahullah, he say, Imam Ahmad rahimahullah could have do barakallahu fikum, and he say whatever they wanted him to say, so he can free himself. But he understood that the whole responsibility of this belief was on his shoulders. That if he would have take another statement, that you realize that the people, they will all follow him until our day in time. Illa man rahima rabbu, except that all those that Allah has mercy upon them. So Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, fasabara, he was patient. He say, wasabara watahammala ad-darb. So he was patient and he endured. He was patient and he endured that which was the torture and the jail and all of that, that mihna that he was afflicted with. So therefore, فَالْقُرْآنُ وَالسُّنَّةِ, Shaykh Rabee, he say that the Quran and the Sunnah يَدُلَّانِ عَلَىٰ أَنَّ الْقُرْآنَ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ. He say that both the Quran and the Sunnah, both the texts in the Quran and the Sunnah, they are proven that indeed the Quran is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is not created. He say that which it came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he conveyed to Jibril alayhi salatu wassalam, and Jibril alayhi salatu wassalam he conveyed to the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala yatakallama mata sha'a wa idha sha'a. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he speaks whenever he want to speak, to whomever he want to speak, whenever he want to speak. And this is why we mention about the attribute of al-kalam. We mention about the attribute of al-kalam. Where do we place the attribute of al-kalam? In what sifat do we place it at? In where do we place the attribute of al-kalam? And what do we place the attribute of al-kalam? Abdullah. طيب, he says صفات الذاتية. What else? And fi'liya. So al-kalam, you place it in both. Al-kalam, the sifat of the kalam, the attributes of the speech, that you place it in both, in the dhatiya and the fi'liya. Why do you place it in both? Because dhatiya, it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala la yazalu an yatakallam. Allah will never cease to be speaking. طيب. Just like knowledge, Allah will never cease to be knowledgeable. There is no point of a time that Allah was not knowledgeable. And why is it fi'liya, meaning it is an attribute of by action? Because He chooses to do it whenever He chooses to do it. So it is an attribute that is يعني يتعلق بالمشيئة. It is linked with what? With the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any action that Allah does it whenever He will, this you place it on the sifatul fi'liya. In any attribute that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is with His essence, that you put it into the dhatiyya. طيب. So the Shaykh Hafidhahullah, he gave the example in Surah Al-Kahf, verse number 109. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ مِدَادًا لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّهِ لَنَفِذَ الْبَحْرُ قَبْلَ أَن تَنْفَدَ كَلِمَاتُ رَبِّهِ وَلَوْ جِئْنَا بِمِثْلِهِ مَدَدًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, what can be translated to mean? He said, if all the water, if all the ocean was to be ink to write the speech of Allah, then they will all be what? Lapsed. They will all finish, and the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still remain. So he mentioned, so therefore, فَمَنْ كَلَامُهُ الْكِتَابِ الْمُنَزَّلَ, from the speech of Allah are those books that has been revealed, like the Bible, like the Old Testament. And we mentioned in the last class that indeed, that we believe that the book that was revealed unto Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, haqiqatan, that is the speech of Allah. But amma, what these individuals they have today, and they refer to it as the Bible, that this is not as they say the words of God. This is not the words of Allah. Limadha? Because they have tampered with it. They have changed it. They have altered it. They have put their own agenda in it. They have put their own twist and turn in it. So therefore that cannot be associated with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in whatever shape or form. Likewise the Torah, right? Likewise the Old Testament that was sent on down, was revealed to Musa alayhi salatu wassalam. And likewise the books that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, that there are wisdom in it. And the Shaykh Hafidhahullah, he say that from the wisdom behind it, it is that it is a maslahah or islahul bashar. It is to bring about and show the rectification for the humanity. And likewise, to destroy and guide them away from destruction. To destroy, meaning that which is corruption. And to guide them away from that which, barakallahu fikum, is their own destruction. And likewise, it is a book of what is called yani the rules and regulation, and also that which is the maqasid of ar-rububiyyah, that which is yani the guidelines of the Lordship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So also, from the wisdom of these books is that no one will come yawm al-qiyamati with a hujjah. No one will come yawm al-qiyamati with the what? With a hujjah. No one will come yawm al-qiyamati with a valid excuse. Because indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has sent down and revealed the books. So what can a person come yawm al-qiyamati to say, well, I didn't know. I didn't know. And the ulama, they have mentioned that in the Surah Al-Fatiha that we read, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Oh Allah, guide us to the straight path. And right the very first surah that comes after is what? Surah Al-Baqarah. And Allah Jalla say, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ. Now guiding us to this book for the guidance that we were seeking. Guiding us to that book for the guidance that we were seeking in the dua in Surah Al-Fatiha. So Al-Quran Kalamullah. Al-Quran